It's Saturday morning. I still have about an hour and a half left before my 10-hour break is up, before I head to City of Industry to pick up a preloaded trailer, and then I'm going to Phoenix, which will be about a 7-hour drive, which means I won't get there till later today, early evening. And then the plan is I'm supposed to drop that off. I think it's a drop. I don't know if it's a drop or a live unload, but the point is after I get done, I'm headed home, so I'll be home sometime today. And then I'm gonna be home until Monday morning, and then I start all over again. Some of you have seen that my dedicated runs are to Hemet here. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and this is new to me. I've done dedicated before, but not this kind. This is actually pretty cool. I think I'm going on a month into this, and I'm gonna flip the camera around here. Docks. Now it's morning now, but I came in last night about 11 o'clock, so obviously it was dark when I came in. These guys are revving their engines when, you know, I'm making a video and they've got to rev their engines. It's night, and I usually go here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't even know who these guys are. They're in the parking lot revving their engines. I don't even know who they are. Let's see who they are. I don't even know who these guys are. Anyway, these are pictures I took last night at the dock around 11 p.m. last night, 2300, when I was docked and I was waiting for them to unload so I could move the truck and park for the night. That's what it looks like. Last night I came in, and this is my end, the Hemet Winco store, where sometimes I have an extra stop. Like last night I stopped in Indio, which is right on the way. It's just right off the highway, 60 miles from here. But I go from Phoenix to here every night. I leave 3 p.m. 1500, and I get here usually around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I back into one of these docks that are open. Usually this one right here. Last night I backed in here. In fact, I took a picture of it last night. I can show you. And what I like about this dock, not all docks are this way, there's all this pull-up area here, and which means it's really easy back, because you just pull straight up here with your tractor trailer like so, and you line it up. I'm done, and I pull over where my truck is now, and I basically shut down for at least my 10 hours. And today that's what I'm doing, because I have a load that I'm picking up that's actually a late dispatch, meaning it was supposed to be picked up 2 days ago. It was supposed to be delivered yesterday. So no fault of my own. It's a late dispatch, but it was the best load to get me back to Phoenix. Because the complicated part, I was talking to Michael, my driver manager, my new driver DM, we call it DM, driver manager. The only thing that is a little bit complicated with this particular setup is that it's not the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday where I show up at Winco Distribution Center. It's only about a 10-minute drive from the night terminal. That's pretty easy. I just head over there with an empty, drop the empty, bobtail to the transportation office, check in. I'm usually early, and they'll usually tell me just to come back at 3 o'clock or 1500 to get my paperwork, sign my paperwork. And then my load is a preloaded trailer at a dock. When I drive in, I can see it's the only night trailer that's at a dock, so I can already see the door number and the trailer number. And I essentially just sign the paperwork and take the paperwork and drive over to the dock, pick up hook up to the loaded trailer, do my loaded call, drive around, scale it, and go out, give the guard one of the sheets of paper, which is the bill of lading, and then I go on my way. And usually I'm out of there within 15 minutes or so, and then I head down the highway. And if it's a Hemet load to Hemet here, I just basically drive straight out here. Now the hard part is they're their transit time is really tight, meaning when we have like a load like the one I have this afternoon, that's a preloaded trailer that's going to Phoenix, we don't have our transit times to where it's so tight that you can't stop for a restroom break or get a coffee or take a quick power nap or something on the way. Like for example, sometimes I'll pick up a load I'm delivering to Walmart, and I have it delivering anytime within a 24-hour period from midnight to midnight, so it gives me all kinds of cushion. With these particular loads, the dedicated, they have it really super tight, which makes it kind of hard. I was coming here after doing my drop in Indio, and the 79, the highway that goes off of the Interstate 10, was blocked completely. And they detoured me around an area that was even truck restricted, and it set me back. It was bumper to bumper parking lot traffic, like close to 11 o'clock at night. So it took me like an extra 45 minutes to an hour to get here. Of course, I can't do anything about that, so what they just expect, Winco and Knight for that matter, is just to tell them what's going on. So I called them and said that, what was going on. They notified the store, and I got here. It wasn't a problem at all. But those are a couple of things that's kind of an ongoing problem with this particular dedicated. Is number one, it's really, really tight transit time. Number two, there seems to be always construction traffic problems, and I heard some noise behind me. I wonder who that was. Construction traffic and problem. The point is, there's always seems to be problems getting here on time. That's number one. Number two, the big challenge is after I deliver this load and I have an empty trailer for my next setup to go back to Phoenix, is lining that setup back. Now there's a couple here there's a Living Spaces place that I go to in Paris that's perfect. There's a Lowe's that's in Marina Valley that's perfect. This one's in City of Industry, which is not perfect. So the tricky part is lining up the return. Okay. Then the third thing is having an empty for my load on Monday. So there's some challenges with this that kind of stop. Sometimes I start thinking about, well, whether it's worth it to do this versus just the way I was doing it for the past 12 years over the road. And that is where I get dispatched a load. If I go back to work, I get dispatched a load in Phoenix. Most of the time it is, frankly, going in Southern California, very similar to the way I start the Winco loads. So I normally go into Southern California, but it's to set me up to get some freight in Southern California that may be going to Portland or Salt Lake or Denver, but a longer load. Okay. And then I do that longer load, and then I just get dispatched, one load after another. And typically those loads are 800, 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles, that in that range. A 300-mile run for us is considered a short run. And this is 308 miles from Phoenix to here. So the bottom line is, this dedicated, it's set Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It was a return Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. The actual paid miles that I have for the week is less than my long distance or my over-the-road stuff. So it means I'm getting paid a little less. However, the cool thing about this is it's even though some of the things is unpredictable and kind of a hassle, every weekend I'm going to be home for a 34-hour reset, and I'll start with fresh hours on Monday. So it means that every weekend I'm going to be home. Maybe just from Saturday night till Monday morning, but I'll be home every weekend. So that gives me a chance to see my folks, touch base to see how my dad's doing. And I'm setting up, kind of in the process of setting up my little studio in my home to do for the projects. I got a new Mac computer with the M1 chip, and I've got, I'm in the process of setting up a podcast and all that. And it's nice to have a studio where I can go to work and really focus, even if it's just from Saturday till Monday morning. So the other thing is, with this particular setup, like right now, I got off like 11 o'clock last night. I don't know what time it is this morning. It's probably about 8 o'clock, and I still can't move for another hour. So I have blocks of time that even in my truck with my iPhone, I can do stuff, record videos with iMovie, and do Zoom calls, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I'm still leaning on staying with this, because once I give it up and I go over the road, I can't come back. These kinds of setups are really unusual. That's why they gave it to me. They wanted to give this dedicated to a driver with experience, and I have experience. And also, a lot of drivers want this kind of thing, because I could even possibly be home more than just on the weekends, depending on how things shake out. Like, for example, when I get in, when I'm back on Tuesday afternoon or evening, I really don't have to pick up my next load until Wednesday afternoon. So if I really wanted to drive an hour home, I could go home, you know, a couple times during the week as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd shoot these videos and give a little more explanation or background on what this is. What is a dedicated run, and how does it compare to over the road? And I will say that most of the time, if you get hired if you go through a recruiter, and then you go through truck driving school through one of the companies that do train drivers, including like Knight has the Squire program. You normally would go through their, like with us, with Knight Transportation, there's a Squire truck driving school, and then you go out with a trainer, and then after you go out with the trainer, I believe there's a period of about 30,000 miles, or approximately 3 months, that you go out solo, and then after that you get tested and all of that. Then after that, you're considered a regular, more or less certified driver, but you're still just getting started, but you're doing over the road typically. Now, there are people that fall into, I bumped into a driver in Fontana. I was talking to him, and he said he had a dedicated from Southern California to up near Sacramento that he did. And I asked him how long he'd been driving. He said only about 2 years with Knight. So there are exceptions. Most of the time when you're a new driver, you don't fall into something like that. You usually end up doing over the road for quite some time before you end up having a dedicated like this. So anyway, that's all I have to say right now. Over and out from Hemet, California. This fly keeps flying around, being a nuisance. But I'm gonna sign off and do some mixing, and it never fails. Whenever I try to do a video, there's a plane flying overhead. There's those guys that were revving up their engines. You know, there's always stuff, you know, going on. But that's the way it is when you're out here in the big bad world, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off.